Okay, good evening, Hayden. I'm calling to order our regular city council meeting. It is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, approximately 5:03 PM. May we get a roll call of council members, please?
Council President DePriest.
Here.
Councilmember Erickson.
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Here.
Councilmember Roeder.
Here.
All right, we're all here. Tom, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Gladly. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not aware of any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight. I'm going to move right into our first item, which is a proclamation celebrating Week of the Young Child. And that is organized by the Idaho Association for the Education of Young Children and the National Association for the Education of Young Children. They're celebrating the Week of the Young Child, April 11 to 17, 2026. So therefore, I, Alan Davis, Mayor of Hayden, Idaho, do hereby proclaim April 11th to 17th, 2026 as the Week of the Young Child in Hayden, Idaho, and do hereby recognize that when our community invests in early childhood care and education, we also invest in our children's families and the future of our community. And to that, I would just say, with school being out and the kids are out, please be safe. With that, I'm going to move on to the consent calendar, which is shorty. Got approval of the February 24th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes, approval of March 10, 2026 City Council meeting minutes, and bills for payment. Is there any discussion from council or questions? Anyone like to make a motion?
Sure. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the consent agenda as read. Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, may we get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Erickson.
Yes.
Councilmember Roeder.
Yes.
Council President DePriest.
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes.
Okay. Going to move on to our next part, which is visitor public comments. And we have a handful of comments tonight. Okay. I had to pull up my public comment procedure since we have some new faces in the crowd. This is a city council meeting transparently documenting city business. Although not a meeting with the public, citizens may address the dais if they fill out a card located on the table in the back of the room. They look like this. Public comments are welcome but cannot address those issues that our city council will reasonably hold a hearing, including issues related to anticipated land use decisions. As we are here to positively build our city, please refrain from using the podium for spectacle. I will limit individual comments to 3 minutes, and speakers will state their name and primary residential city prior to addressing council. I encourage everyone to more meaningfully engage the city through a personal appointment with staff or myself if there is a problem to solve. I will visibly indicate when a speaker needs to conclude their comments. First is Richard Molstead, is it?
Yeah, I'm Richard Molstead.
Okay. Would you step up over there where the microphone is and state your name and the city you live in?
Sure. Where do you want me?
Right around.
Podium.
My name is Richard Molstead. Address 2732 East Hayden Lake Road, Hayden, Idaho 83835.
So are you live within the city?
Yes.
What do you have?
Okay, what do you want to know?
Well, you wanted to talk to us, so what do you?
I am planning to talk to you. Am I on?
You're on.
Yeah, my question has to do with the proposed marina development. And I want to know if the developers have conducted a environmental impact study on that project.
Okay, so public comment is not a back and forth. You can ask questions and your question could get answered later, but our council's not, it's not a conversation.
I just asked a question.
Fair enough.
My question was, have the developers performed and submitted an environmental impact for this project?
Right, and that would be a question for the developers.
Okay, you don't know that.
I do not.
Okay, that's my only question.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Breezy, are you here tonight?
He's always here.
He's always here.
Good man.
Looks like Bill wants to talk about historical preservation awards.
Yes, sir, I do. My name is Bill Breezy. I live at 12201 North Strayhorn in Hayden. I am vice president of the, vice chair of the Hayden Historic Preservation Commission. And I want to let the audience know whether you're, here live or whether you're on cyberspace or someplace. But the mission of the Hayden Historic Preservation Commission is to gather, preserve, and advance the story of the Hayden community. So this year, what we're trying to do is we are asking the community to get together and submit to us houses that you think are worthy of an award that tell the story of Hayden. It could be an old house, it could be a remodel, it could be anything, and, we will be presenting the awards out at the second council meeting in May, which is National Historic Preservation Month. So I have flyers for, I have a few flyers that I can hand out after the meeting. And I'm just trying to encourage everybody to apply. You do not have to, you do not have to ask the owner of the property, because we will be sending the owner a letter stating that their property has been nominated, and that if they did not want this to happen, that we would not judge their award. So, we're just trying to get community input and celebrate those structures that tell the story of Hayden.
Thanks, Bill, for a positive community contribution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next person that wishes to speak is Tom Brown. And just for clarity for future speakers, I don't need everybody's full address, just the city you live in. If you don't live in the city, just please say you live in the county. Thank you.
My name is Tom Brown. I live next door to the Hayden Lake Marina, and I'm here about the Hayden Lake Marina. I am the adjacent owner to the marina just to the east. My property line abuts theirs. And I'll be the most affected by this expansion reconfiguration. There's currently 4 access points for boats into the marina to park their boats. The marina is proposing to change that and have 1 ingress-egress point, which will go right by my dock. There will only be one way to get in, and it's right along the eastern shore of the lake. There will be hundreds of boats, probably 200 boats a day that will be driving right by my dock. And that's as well as the next 3 neighbors beyond me. This will damage my dock, my shoreline, and ruin the use of my dock for relaxing or swimming, as well as greatly decreasing my property value, as well as my neighbors. The marina wants to increase the size of the slips to accommodate the huge surf boats that fill themselves with water to create huge waves, doing lots of damage to docks, shorelines, and boats in private slips. They now have over 200 slips, and this many boats makes it undesirable to be on the lake on weekends or other busy days. Lindsay has never contacted me about, or has never contacted me since the current owners bought the marina in 2021. Lindsay is the manager of Hayden Lake Marina. I talked with Gunner at the marina, gave him my contact info and told him to have Lindsay call me, and she never did. She only contacted one neighbor, Petroni, who has the property to the west, and he proposed that the marina expansion was okay, but his side of it, they're gonna put a dock in there and he'll have a better situation than he does right now. She didn't contact any of the other neighbors or anybody in the whole area. And the first that I heard of this expansion was by letter from the IDL on January 23rd, 2026. They only gave everybody 1 month to respond, and they've been working on this for 2.5 years. Having said this, I'm not against the marina. I've lived there next door to the marina for 50 years. And I've gotten along with everybody that owned it until this property was bought by the recent ones. I just don't understand why they didn't make a plan that would be advantageous to the people on the east as they did to on the west, instead of running all of the boats right by the property. And I'm asking that you don't make a decision on this matter until after the public hearing, which is on April 15th of this year, and would recommend that you look over the application to better understand what they're proposing to do, because there are major parking and traffic issues at the way that it's configured now.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
Okay, next up is Lauren Morris.
My name is Lauren Morris, and I live at 3574 East Toba Road, Unit C20, in the Coopers Bay condos, right above the marina. Before, there was no information about this expansion happening, and I heard about it last week. I'm opposed to it. It's gonna start putting too many boats, too much stuff on the lake. It's gonna ruin bass fishing. Whole stretch, the good bass fishing happens to be right around the docks and around everybody's pier and stuff. It's gonna ruin that whole section right there. It's supposed to be public lake, so what is a private company doing pushing out into the lake? That's not their property. Property line stops at the water's edge, high water mark. It's gonna cause a lot of problems. Now, the access to Coopers Bay condos is right there at the marina. And you can see there's a big sign there that says Coopers Bay condos and private road. That road is Coopers Bay condos property. Don't need to have extra cars trying to park up along that road. Plus, in Coopers Bay, we have a lot of residents. That's, mind you, only 20 units, but the residents are old, disabled, so and stuff, and we need to have access, immediate access to both fire and ambulance service. Can't have any congestion. This is going to become more problem. Plus, you put all these big boats on the lake, it's going to drop the quality of the lake. They all leave gasoline stuff on the lake. It floats around, and the more you do stuff, and it's also feel that it's improper for the city board to make any kind of a recommendation to these people. And just a matter of an outside huge corporation coming in and trying to push their weight around, and ruin our nice area.
Thank you for your testimony. Okay, next up is Nancy Spencer. Are you okay?
I am okay.
All right, I'm glad.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor Davis, Council President DePriest, and council members. My name is Nancy Spencer, and I live near Tobler Marina. I'm here tonight to request that you at least delay, if not deny, item 5D, Hayden Lake Marina request for a letter supporting their expansion project on Hayden Lake. My family has owned a place on Cooper's Bay for the past 48 years. During that time, I have watched as things have changed, some good and some not so good. Let me begin with this. I am not opposed to the marina. It has provided a place for those who do not have frontage to keep boats on the lake. The restaurant has provided a place for people to gather. I am, however, opposed to this current expansion for many reasons. The application and Ms. Olmsted's letter raises many questions, among them. Boats and their wakes have gotten larger, but the lake hasn't. Why is this an argument? The configuration and the expansion plan dramatically changes the navigation flow of boats, as mentioned by Tom Brown, and places boats in a narrow corridor along the eastern side of the lake, endangering the safety of individuals swimming, kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, etc. Hayden is primarily a residential lake as opposed to Coeur d'Alene Lake, which is much larger and has more room for commercial expansion. With another 228 feet extension into the lake, this takes more usable water away from existing usage. This expansion further places small watercraft, kayakers, stand-up paddleboarders, etc., at greater risk because of the distance they will now need to go out into the lake to get around the marina. The parking in the summer is already overcrowded, inadequate, and congested. The expansion plan does not include a shuttle drop-off or pickup location. There is no designated boat trailer parking. There is no marina and/or restaurant employee parking. There's no visitor parking. The increased traffic on an already congested road will only increase the safety and road deterioration issues. The proposed off-site parking on Honeysuckle Road will impact the city beach and Honeysuckle Road parking and traffic, which is already an issue. The detrimental environmental impact on the lake and those who recreate on it will be impacted as well. For the above reasons, and because of the amount of opposition to this expansion, and before any action is taken to support this application, I would encourage the City Council to thoroughly review all of the documents on the IDL website and those that have been submitted to you. And if necessary, because of the outpouring of public concern in the community, I ask the City Council to hold a public hearing to further seek public input on this expansion prior to submitting a letter of support. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Nancy. I might butcher this, I apologize. Rob, how is it?
Richmond, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Davis and councillors, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'm Rob Krichmarov. I own the property immediately adjacent the marina. It takes about 15 seconds for me to swim to my dock to the nearest dock in the marina. I want to say up front, like many of the other people here, we're not against the marina. I'm aware that people have coexisted there, and it's been part of the community for a long time. I respect that. But I'm really here because I believe that the council deserves a full picture before it acts on tonight's agenda item. And I think the marina's letter gives you really only one side, and I'm hoping to balance that up a little bit. So let me tell you three things that the letter doesn't mention. The first one is that the marina's own general manager told me directly in a meeting that I had with her, my wife was present, on February the 10th, that the expansion is needed to, and I'm quoting her here, pay for the capital invested in the refurbishment. This is a Florida corporation recovering its investment. That's a legitimate business, have no problems with people earning money, but it's not the same as the public need and community access that the letter describes to you. Second, the project's been in planning for 2.5 years through, I'm aware of at least 8 design changes. I saw the 8th design change. I'm the immediate neighbour adjacent to the east, and I was never once contacted. The broader community had approximately no more than 4 weeks to respond to a completed application. The letter you received tonight is the first time I think probably most of this council has been made aware of it. Certainly community members are waking up to it, and there's growing opposition to it. Third, and this is specific to the city, the parking plan depends on a satellite lot about a mile away on Honeysuckle Avenue. Your own city zoning records show that the property is single family residential. Whether a commercial marina can use an R1 land for customer parking without conditional use permit, that's really a question for the city's own planning department, and that should be answered before council lends its name to this project. I also want the council to understand the breadth of what's being asked to weigh in on. Formal objections have been filed by dozens of households. Community opposition is growing rapidly because most of the residents are only finding out about the proposal now, or very recently for the first time, despite 2.5 years of planning. This is not an accident. The applicant deliberately avoided community engagement during that entire period, in the GM's own words, to get their application in, presumably before opposition could develop. The council would be lending its name to a project that a significant and growing portion of the community and the Hayden Lake community opposes, based solely on the applicant's own letter, with no community voice on the other side. And just to wrap up, we're not asking you to take a side. I'm asking you for 3 weeks. Let the IDL process take its course. The public hearing's on April the 15th. There's an independent regulatory officer that's going to be assessing the application on its merits. Waiting for that determination before the city weighs in is not it's not opposition, it's prudence. And so you have my fuller, hopefully you have my fuller letter, which I sent earlier today, before you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, next up, Galen Heatherly? Galen.
Glass on so I can see. My name is Galen Heatherly. My wife and I live at 4513 East Hayden Lake Road. It's in the county. Hayden Lake Marina is not located within the city limits of Hayden, Idaho. It is in Kootenai County. In order to be in compliance with parking lot code requirements for commercial marinas within Kootenai County, Hayden Lake Marina needs to have 1 parking space for every 2 public watercraft moorages. Because of space limitations at the facility on East Hayden Lake Road, the available parking space falls short of meeting this Kootenai County code requirement. Marina ownership is planning on using the lot they own within the Hayden city limits on Honeysuckle Avenue, which is zoned R1, as an overflow parking facility with a shuttle service to transport marina customers to the main facility over a mile away. Also of note, the only 2 ADA compliant parking spaces for this marina expansion proposal are located in this remote parking lot, not at the marina. Hayden Lake Marina is owned by a partnership between Southern Marinas, based in Florida, and KSL Capital Partners, a private equity company based in Denver, Colorado. Their application for expansion and reconfiguration was filed with Idaho Department of Lands in October 2025. In May 2025, 5 months prior to filing their application with IDL, Lindsay Olmstead, manager of Hayden Lake Marina, and Luke Radlinski, COO of Southern Marinas, appeared before the Hayden City Council to propose a co-development plan that was to involve combining their R1 lot on Honeysuckle Avenue with the city's adjacent property, Sand Pit, to create a 7-acre development with 52 truck and trailer spaces and 36 car spaces. At the time of this proposal, the stated purpose of this project was pitched to council under the pretense that it would serve to expand parking and improve traffic flow for Honeysuckle Beach and reduce roadside parking on Honeysuckle Avenue. Based on the dates of these 2 occurrences, the only logical conclusion that can be drawn is that this proposal to the Hayden City Council 5 months prior to filing their application with IDL was not to expand parking and improve traffic flow for Honeysuckle Beach or to reduce roadside parking on Honeysuckle Avenue. The purpose of this proposal was to solve their parking problem by creating a partnership arrangement with the city. When this proposal did not render expected results, an alternate overflow parking plan was relied on using the R1 lot on Honeysuckle Avenue. It was drafted by an engineering firm out of Savannah, Georgia, and received by IDL in January 2026. The record has been established that marina management has gone through 8 design iterations of marine layouts in a 2.5-year time span prior to landing on one that is currently before the IDL for review. Clearly, Southern Marinas has known about this parking problem long before their co-development proposal to the Hayden City Council.
Galen, are you close to the end?
I'm very close to the end.
Thanks.
And only chose to address the deficiency after their efforts to facilitate a parking solution with the city were not immediately successful. Before any letter of support for the marina expansion proposal is drafted and submitted to IDL by the Hayden City Council, I truly do believe that careful consideration needs to be given as to the actual pretense of this parking lot co-development proposal as presented to council in May of 2025.
Thank you, sir. And lastly, Alicia Humiston. Hope I got that close. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here on behalf of the Hayden Lake Watershed Association. Jan Wilkins, president, submitted a letter earlier today, but she couldn't be here tonight. And I know you guys can read, so I won't
Thank you.
read this for you.
Thank you.
But, I'll just kind of reiterate, yes, insufficient on-site parking, zoning and land use conflicts, traffic congestions, and safety are all issues we have with this project. One thing Lindsay wrote in her thing was people like Hayden Lake over Coeur d'Alene, and we know why. I don't go to Coeur d'Alene Lake anymore either because it's nothing but waves and big boats, and I would hate to see Hayden become that as well. The other thing that she mentioned to us was shuttle service, that she's already been doing the shuttle service for a few years. And that's against her zoning for that lot that's there now. And I think that should be addressed at some time. And the other parking, the thing is parking. She's supposed to have 98 per her plan in 15. They only have 75 spots. So they've been delinquent on their parking for a long time right now. So I hope you guys will push this until the 15th and then address what needs to be addressed with the city.
Thank you. All right, with that said, I want to take a moment to thank the city staff. I think our city does a fabulous job at letting the public know what we're planning and giving them more than ample opportunity to provide their opinions and their thoughts on things before we bring things in for decision. So thank you, staff. With that, I'm going to move on to unfinished business. Our first action item is PZE 240133, which is North Government Way and Belick Enterprises Annexation Ordinance. You got that right, Matt?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, so what we're going to do is make a call for a motion to read the ordinance by title only, suspend the rule of reading in its full on 3 separate dates, and to approve the first reading.
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Council President DePreez?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to read an ordinance of the City of Hayden, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, providing for annexation of approximately 19.6 acres of land located approximately 675 feet north from center line of West Lancaster Road, north on North Government Way, to the south line of West Vocal Road, and the properties west of Government Way and west of Highway 95, more commonly known as 13131, 13135, and 13403 in North Government Way, providing zoning of the property so annexed as commercial, providing for amendment to the official zoning map, providing severability, and providing an effective date thereof. Sounds like an engineer wrote that. I call for a motion to adopt the ordinance on having passed its first reading by title only and that it be published by summary, incorporating the title as the core of the summary upon passage.
So moved. Second.
May we get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
Council President DePriest?
Yes.
All right, thank you, council. Next item, action item is PZE 250110, which is the North Ramsey Road Annexation Ordinance. We'll follow the same procedure. Calling for a motion to read the ordinance by title only, suspending the rule of reading in it full on 3 separate dates, and to approve the first reading.
I make that motion. I'll second.
Okay. Maybe get a roll call vote, please.
Council President DePriest?
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
An ordinance of the City of Hayden, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, providing for annexation of approximately 7.53 acres of land located west of North Ramsey Road and north of West Wyoming Avenue, more commonly known as 11341 North Ramsey Road, providing zoning of the property so annexed as light industrial, providing for amendment to the official zoning map, providing severability, and providing an effective date hereof. Call for a motion to adopt the ordinance on having passed its first reading by title only and that it be published by summary, incorporating the title as the core of the summary upon passage.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Council President DePriest?
Yes.
Thank you, council. Okay, moving on to item 4C, which is a professional services contract with Maintenance Consulting Group for law enforcement strategic planning study. This was a decision council has made, and so what we need tonight is for someone to allow I believe the mayor to sign the professional services agreement with Matrix Consulting Group. Is there any discussion by council, or would someone like to make a motion?
I do have a question, if I may.
Yes.
I'm wondering about how the timing is on payment. Do we pay half up front, half at the end, pay it all up front, or pay it all at the end?
I believe they bill on the 30-day window with us paying in after the services have been provided. So they would give us invoices monthly.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions?
Since Matt made me think about it, when will we get to meet them the first time?
I spoke with the project rep via email. I am trying to do a kickoff meeting with them early part of next week. And then they will be conducting interviews and they'll be reaching out to each of you guys individually.
Okay, cool.
So will there be a group meeting and then individual meetings, or how is it?
Initially, well, we can certainly bring forward if you have desires to want to do that, but initially it was just going to be staff and the consultant sort of checking in as we get started, and then they were going to start their interviewing of stakeholders, and that included you guys.
Lisa, would it make more sense for us to have a joint interview? I feel as if
I think you guys can
individual-
certainly direct me that way. Just letting you know the little bit of work I had done with the consultant so far was to initially meet with them early part of next week, and we're trying to figure out that date. And then if you guys desire, as a result of that meeting, that we come out of that scheduling discussion, I can certainly take that to them.
my recommendation would be that we have a joint meeting so that we're not wasting time covering the same topic. And then also hearing all of your questions gets the juices flowing, you know? And we can
I
tackle
would
everything
need,
all at once.
Either tonight or shortly after I meet with them, for the clerk to send out some ideas or suggestions for dates and times, unless you guys have some times you want me to consider with them tonight, I can certainly take that.
Do we know when they were planning on starting the individual meetings?
Again, we didn't have a contract, so I was just trying to start a conversation at the earliest time, which they were indicating was probably Monday.
So here's what we can do, council. Lisa and staff will meet with the consultant, and then immediately following, we'll go out with we'll ask your availability for the following week or whenever the consultant is available and you're available.
That's fine. Let's get this going, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion that,
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor, to authorize you to sign the professional services contract with Matrix Consulting Group for law enforcement strategic planning efforts.
Second.
a motion and a second, any discussion?
No.
Get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Council President DePreez?
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to 4D,
40?
which is approval of Welch Comer's Engineering Services Agreement for Honeysuckle Government Way intersection design. I think that's fairly straightforward unless council has any questions.
It's about time.
Okay. You want to motion us, Mr.
Sure.
Ty?
I'll make the motion that we approve Welch Comer's Engineering Services Agreement for the Honeysuckle Government Way intersection design.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
Council President DePreez?
Yes.
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay, our next item is our annual trust report.
AAA, just, AAA is our,
Triple IA,
is
yes.
our insurance, medical insurance provider.
Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Has it been a year already?
Really?
Thank you, Mayor, Council, for having me. So I will make this quick because I can see you guys have a long agenda tonight. So I'm Susan Lesuin. I'm the Operations Director for AAA. So we just like to come on site and share how the year ended for us as of September 30th. So last year we did end our year with 124 agencies in the trust. We had about 2,500 total employees. Do you want one?
You have an extra.
Alicia, can you get one?
Do you want mine?
No, I have someone with me. We had about a $42.5 million budget for the trust. 95% of our agencies participated in our wellness screenings, and we had about that $4.2 million in savings through the programs we administer internally. Excuse me, next couple of pages, you'll see just our agencies within the trust. Our board of trustees, we are continuing to see growth. We actually are at 135 agencies. So just in a couple months, we've added 11 additional groups to our trust. On pages 4 and 5, just the AAA team, we like to share some demographics about us. You can see our benefits line last year. So this is where our members call in and get assistance. We had over 8,000 calls, so that's keeping us pretty busy. But it's really nice because you're not having to call Blue Cross of Idaho, you're calling us, and we're able to get that assistance for our members. On the financial side, a couple things we're really highlighting this year. So last year, you'll remember we switched our pharmacy benefit manager. There's always some hiccups in paying there. We knew, though, the long run, it would be better for us financially. So last year, we had about $1.9 million in prescription rebates. So that increased from the prior year. Additional to that, you'll see we had a 5% decrease in our per employee per month cost for prescriptions. So we collected more rebates and we paid less for prescriptions overall. So it's been a really good thing, even though we know there's always hiccups. There's some member abrasion with that. It's been really positive for us. And then just a couple other things. Our stop-loss catastrophic coverage went up 15% last year, and we'll talk about that a little later in the report, and I'll explain to you why. On page 6, you'll see our medical and prescription plans. So again, we have 118 agencies that are in this plan. 12 agencies joined last year. The thing we've really been highlighting is when you look at 7 years, what our rate is, our average rate versus trend, which is inflation in Idaho on medical. Our rate for 7 years is 6%. Idaho's trend or inflation is 6.7. So although we've had some years where we've had a little more increase than we would like. In the long run, it's really smoothed out, and we're seeing that we're staying below that inflation rate for medical costs.
Question for you.
Yes, of course.
Does declined agencies represent agencies that are eligible but decline to work with you?
Yeah, no, so we actually decline them.
Oh.
Because we're a self-funded trust, we're able to select the groups that come in. We always look at rating. And a lot of times these are small groups, 5 people, and maybe they have a cancer. And because we're self-funded, we know there's no way they'll be able to afford the rates to cover their costs. And so we just tell them, go look at other options that are more affordable for your group.
Thank you.
On the high claimants and stop loss. So this is our catastrophic insurance that I talked about a little bit. It did go up. 2 years ago, we had our worst year ever. We had our $4.5 million baby. It was a preemie baby. And so that stop loss kicks in at $475,000, pays the rest of the expenses. This year, we ended much better. We had 4 people that hit stop loss for the year. So that's more than $475,000 in claims. But you can also see we had 32 members that hit over $100,000 in claims. Anybody that hits over $100,000, we do contact with them. We do care management with them. We make sure we get them additional assistance from our nurse practitioners to navigate their health care, make sure they're getting all the assistance they need. One of the big things, that bottom box will show you, you can see last year, these 32 members make up 0.6% of our membership, but they cost 22% of the total claims dollars. So these are the members we're really most concerned about, who we want to make sure are really getting, like I said, that help. And we're helping bypass some of those prior auths, for example, to get them care faster. One of our big things we always talk about is wellness and health. So last year, just to give you some highlights from these 32 members, we spent $1.1 million just on melanoma. $935,000 was on cardiac, and then $1.9 million was on non-melanoma oncology, so all those other cancers. So we're really seeing this melanoma number go up. As you know, when we come on site, we bring dermatologists now, and that's why we're seeing that increase, and Idaho does have the highest rate of melanoma deaths in the country. And so we're really trying to be aware of that and make sure we're catching those much earlier. Next,
Ask a question, we
of
move on.
course.
At the bottom, you have a key guide there, green, orange, and then bold red. What
Yeah.
does termed mean?
So that means they're off the plan. That does not necessarily mean they've passed away. It just means they're no longer with IIIA. Because we do have people who take other jobs or they're a dependent and their parents get another position.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, next couple of pages. So our medical programs, this is back to those savings that we talked about. So again, Smith RX, our new pharmacy manager, we had about $3 million in savings last year through their programs. So again, seeing more savings on that prescription side. Medical infusion programs, so that's where we moved medications from Blue Cross, our medical arm, to our pharmacy arm, and we're saving about $88,000, and that's actually increased since we printed this report earlier this year. Additionally, telehealth, my favorite benefit we have, I think it's everyone's if you're our member. So 24-hour care, calling our nurse practitioners, we had about $770,000 in savings. And that's really because you're not going to urgent care. We pay our nurse practitioners per call, so you're not leaving your house, which is a great thing, but then we're also not paying more for you to go to that urgent care facility. And these are usually minor things, right? Ear infections, sinus infections, those influenza seems to be everywhere right now. So those are usually pretty minor things. So these additional programs really make up that $4.2 million we had in savings last year. Last couple of things, so our wellness screenings, just showing you it was great. 95% of our agencies participated, but only 37% of our members participated. So we are looking to this year try and get that increased, do more education, get more people to come in for those health screenings on site. Did you guys have Dusty this year?
I didn't make it, so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Dusty came on site, did the health screening, does the blood draws, gives the flu shots, and then we have that dermatologist who comes out as well. Just through these health screenings, you can see we found 18 elevated PSA, 2 positive Cologuards, a lot of elevated A1Cs, lipid panels, and anybody who has anything that's elevated gets a call from Dusty to say, hey, let's talk about this, let's see what we can do to help you. Dermatology skin checks, like I said, we have 568 members, so a much lower number last year. 2 melanomas were discovered through that, and then 31 non-melanoma skin cancers. So we did catch a lot of things just in those 568 members. Okay, next couple of pages are dental and vision plan. You can look over these. Again, dental plan, we're at 1.1% over 7 years in our renewal. Idaho trend is 4.9%, so that's really staying stable and low. Okay, pages 12 and 13. So these are our mental health plan. Just again, we had a big emphasis on mental health, the last couple of years. So a lot of on-site trainings, virtual trainings we've been offering. We have 10 agencies that we do just mental health for their group on top of our medical groups. So last year we had 3,022 EAP visits, so the utilization went up. We're happy that went up because it means people are really accessing that care before they need more than that. And when you look at our inpatient number, we had a 40% decrease. So to us, it's great. EAP visits are going up, and we're seeing less members have to go inpatient. I will point out to you, of the members that went inpatient last year, 3 were employees, 3 were spouses, and 6 were children under 26. So we're really seeing that. Again, people are getting that assistance, but we're still seeing that child number be a little higher than we would like. That's really it. Just going forward, things for this year, again, promoting annual wellness screenings. Alasia's with me up here because we're doing trainings and meetings, and she coordinates all that. Really encouraging people to utilize any programs we have. And then just working on, do you guys have a wellness champion? I believe you do. So that's great. So just sharing that information as much as you can with your members. So questions?
Questions?
I have one. Can we go to page 5?
Yes.
Under finance, upper left, RX rebates.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so prescription rebates. So it's a little unknown fact that most prescription pharmacy, so they're called prescription benefit managers, they actually process or they're who manage your prescription program. When that prescription is purchased, they get a kickback from the manufacturer. So we actually get 100% of our rebates from our pharmacy benefit manager. This is going to be a nationwide in effect in 2028, I believe. It's going to be a mandatory thing, but we already get 100% of those rebates. So it's kind of like if I purchase Skyrizi, let's go with that. It's a really expensive dermatological drug. It might cost me $8,000 a month, but there might be a $5,000 rebate from the manufacturer. And so a lot of times that gets just absorbed by the insurance company. But in our case, it comes back to us. So that helps keeps rates lower the more we get back. And that's why we have found pharmacy is the easiest way to reduce costs by utilizing programs. Medical is what medical is. You go to the hospital, it costs what it costs. But with pharmacy, there's a lot of different options and programs. And so we're really trying to tap into those and utilize everything we can with them. Does that help a little?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for the report. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5B, which is an action item to purchase and sale agreement with 3M Alliance Family Trust and Lucre Holdings to purchase 1.99 and 0.234 acre parcels located off East Miles Avenue. This is a purchase and sale agreement representing an offer placed by the city to landowners regarding property that's currently off market.
Is this just to submit the offer?
Yeah, the sellers have tentatively agreed upon receiving a signed version back to them from the mayor, or from the council.
Got it.
So they just were reluctant to put that on there for the offer, but they did, through their real estate agent, indicate that to me.
Okay.
I have a question. Lisa, is this now the first time the public is getting to hear about this?
Likely so, yes.
So do we want to say anything for the benefit of the people that are here and then for the record?
Sure. This is an opportunity for the city to purchase a roughly 2-acre piece of property off of Miles Avenue for a future park. The city would be making the offer to purchase it using our park impact fee dollars that we have acquired through park impact fees. And we would eventually work with either developers or potentially the neighborhood to develop a plan for that park that we would then likely construct at a future date.
And isn't it a true statement that the park impact fees kind of have a use it or lose it date?
You have 7 years to utilize those, otherwise they go out. They're first in and first out based on your expenditures. And the city right now has I think in your financial report, a little over $2 million in that account.
Okay. Would I like to make a motion?
Sure.
I'll motion to authorize the mayor to sign the purchase and sale agreement with 3M Alliance Family Trust and Lucre, Lucre Holdings to purchase 1.99 and 0.234 acre parcels located off Miles Avenue in Hayden.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion on the motion? May we get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Roder?
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
Yes.
Councilmember DePreez?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Our next item 5C is an action item, proposed amendments to Hayden City Code Title 6-1-3, which is parking regulations clarifying towing authority. Council has seen the proposed changes in their packet, and I assume Alan is standing by for questions.
Yeah, we're sharing information. So I'll quickly introduce this a little bit. About 8 months ago, there was a bill that came through, a bill to be paid for towing, and the question from the council is why are we paying to tow vehicles in cities? Because we did not have in our code an ability to tow those vehicles and charge the citizens. So it was kind of asked that we take a look at that. We went through that process. This before you is really allowing us to provide that ability if we have vehicles in the way that need to be removed, that we can actually tow them. They can pay for the towing. It doesn't fall on the city. Prior to this, this really only adds that element. This really is existing code, but it only addressed towing when it was for a snow event. Didn't address for construction or other related incidents. So this broadened that a little bit, and that's what's before you right now. We wanted you to be able to see it before we go through the public process to adopt this. It will have to go through public hearing. And so we wanted to give the council time to see it before that, make sure that this policy is in line with what you were looking for, and really looking for just direction today on whether you're comfortable with us moving forward and taking this through the rest of the process.
Council have questions for Alan?
Yeah, question.
Go ahead, Ed.
With this, will there remain any instance where the city can be on the hook for towing charges?
I don't think we would use this if we thought we would be on the hook.
Well, you mentioned that it was the previous was just for snow events. Well, this, I'm assuming is any illegal parking or something like that.
Yeah,
event.
that's the intent, is to take care of that.
Yeah.
Councilman DePreez would be that under this, we would be able to tow those vehicles and they would be directly charged.
Thank you.
Alan?
David?
Let's say somebody gets towed from a handicap zone. The charge is $100. Does the towing company send the city a bill and we send the citizen a bill?
With the passage of this
ordinance down the road here, we would probably turn around and look at getting into a contract agreement with a towing company.
So they do
In
direct
which
pay.
case, there would be a direct transaction between them.
Yeah, I think that would be,
So Alan, to David's
Cleaner.
question, would the person then owe the city $100 for violating our ordinance and have to pay for towing?
Yeah, that would be I'm not an attorney, but yes, I believe that's true.
Probably.
Yes.
got it, okay.
All right.
And I guess to answer the question about the limitations of the ordinance, it is not as limiting as it was before. It says specifically for snow plowing, but rather activities necessary to serve the public. And so that broader statement allows us the adaptability to certain circumstances or conditions that warrant us to have to do that in the interest of the public. It then goes on to be more specific about, but it says it's including but not limiting to certain activities like snow plowing, construction, utility maintenance, et cetera.
And it sounds like, and I've never had my vehicle towed, but you always see it on TV. They'd impound the vehicle, and in order for the individual to get the car back, they're paying whoever's impounding the towing, so the city's totally out of that aspect of
So
it.
the contract would be, we would enter a contract with a towing company that would act on our behalf, and they would do the transactional handling of money related to the tow under our
Right.
agreement. More than likely that'd be, but there are gonna probably be circumstances where either a vehicle that's abandoned doesn't have an owner that you can locate, and then we'll have to settle those bills. But likely our agreement will be with the towing agency and how that would work.
So an abandoned vehicle, I would assume would have some type of registration indication on it somewhere, where you
That
could
you may not
find.
be able to get to a vested owner of that.
So at some point in time, we'd be able to sell that vehicle or whatever.
That-
If you can't find
We
an
work-
owner,
Yeah, we work with our law
it's costing
enforcement
us, yeah.
agency to help
Yeah.
track those specific scenarios, but relative to the contract and the operations of that, we would likely handle most of that through the the firm or the vendor who is handling the tow.
right, okay.
We can have those situations today, and we don't have any contractual agreement to help us handle it. So it just makes that process smoother and easier for the city.
Okay, so council staff.
One more question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I know we're speaking in hypotheticals still, but if the goal is to contract out to a company that would basically turnkey the towing and reimbursement for towing charges, did I hear also correctly that there would be a fine that would go to the city? And what would the purpose of that be for administrative costs, punitive?
I don't know of any fine. The violations, if there's a parking violation, would be a separate issue. So if you got a parking ticket for parking illegally, then that would be a separate action handled not by the vendor. The vendor would just be the towing agency that would come tow the vehicle,
Go.
impound the vehicle, and then take service for the vehicle from the owner if they're retrieving that. So there would be no reimbursements. They would be the ones handling that charge.
Yeah, and that was the goal of this. I'm just trying to understand what the additional.
It's a parking ticket.
I think in a
Parking
hypothetical,
ticket, yeah.
if you
That's just a parking
issued
ticket.
a violation on parking and the vehicle was not removed and you kept revisiting, finally was like, okay, we're going to have it towed.
Got
At
it.
that point, we would have two separate issues going on.
I understand now. Thank you.
Okay. So staff's looking for council to provide direction to proceed with finalizing proposed amendments to Title 613 for public notice and council adoption. So if council's fine with that, we can make such a motion.
I'll make the motion that I move that we provide direction to the staff to proceed with finalizing proposed amendments to Title 6-1-3 for public notice and council adoption.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Have we got a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Erickson,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes.
Council President DePreez.
Yes.
Councilmember Roder.
Yes.
Okay, our last new business action item is Hayden Lake Marina request for letter supporting their expansion project on Hayden Lake. As we've heard tonight from testimony, Hayden Lake Marina is trying to expand their marina, and they've asked our city council, they've asked our city, which of course the council would have to approve, whether they would support a letter of support for the project or not. So with that, I will turn over to council for discussion.
Order, Starboard.
Let's go starboard.
I don't feel comfortable doing anything before this public hearing in 3 weeks. That's what my opinion boils down to.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm going to second what Councilman Erickson said. When I read through the Idaho Department of Land's application, there was a Q&A going back and forth between the state and the marina, and they left a bunch of questions unresolved. One of them brought up was, how does this expansion affect the adjacent property lines? The other one, though, and really that's a matter between the state and the property owners in the county. But the one that I took notice of more importantly was that this plan counted on using a lot within the city of Hayden for parking, and we've never resolved that.
It has
So
only been
they were
discussed.
kind of going fast and loose, assuming that we were going to just go along with it. And that would, we haven't agreed to anything. So until that is resolved, until the public hearing and the Q&A with the Department of Lands is resolved, I would not feel comfortable backing or support for this expansion.
Thank you, Tom.
Before you go over there, can I make one more comment?
Sure.
So I just want to expound a little bit. One of the reasons I ran for office, and one of the reasons you're all here, is I think there's a huge frustration when anyone, whether it's a government body or a private entity, tries to do something and tries to sneak it through. Things are going on at the state level that are frustrating to me. And so to hear about this sort of thing going on in our backyard, at our lake, is very frustrating. And so I echo a lot of concerns here. So I want you to know I take this very seriously.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what was said. Bottom line to me is that the marina is not in the city. It's not our jurisdiction. That is between the county and the state and the landowners around it and stuff like that. As far as I see right now, the parking lot over here is an issue with us. And I have to admit, I do have somewhat of a queasy feeling about the applicant, I guess you would call them, and how they're handling this. And it's concerning seeing this as how will they deal when it comes to the parking lot and officially doing whatever needs to be done with that. But a comment was made that the marina is already actually using that lot as a parking lot and currently shuttling. And I'd like to find out if that is true, because it sounds like, or at least it's been inferred that that's a violation of whatever they're allowed to use it. If not, I don't know, but I'd like it looked into, and I see you shake. So they are allowed to use it as parking and shuttle? Is that, even though it's designated as single-family residential?
Do you want me to address it?
The lot is zoned as single-family residential, but it has a conditional use permit on it that allows it to be used for dock building and parking and boat storage. And
So they can pretty much use it for anything they want related to their...
within those required, those allowed uses. Yep.
Okay, so I guess that answers that question.
Of their specific lot.
Their specific lot. So well, I guess this is something that really needs to be, looked at, if at all, later. But with regards to the letter of support this time, I'm against it.
Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I know that our decision tonight is whether we would support a letter, have a supporting letter for the expansion of the Hayden Lake Marina. My position, and based on the following things, are, number one, that expansion does not affect our tax base at all. It's not within the city. So the parking lot, now, if there's something down there that may affect our taxes, but any expansion at the marina itself, we have no benefit from. So from a financial standpoint, there's no interest in my part to, and plus we don't have a say on what goes on over there. That's county. And I'm just wondering, has the county, have they been involved with this process at all? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, has there been a meeting? Have they discussed these issues? Have people showed up? Because I think they're the ones that should have a lot of say. I know that the State Department of, what is it, IDL, the land under the lake is owned by the state, so you have to get a permit. And I know that's why the permitting process is going there, but there's other issues which were brought up tonight as far as parking, safety, congestion, those kind of things, I believe would be in the county's wheelhouse to determine. So hopefully that this comes before the county. Now, I'm the vice chair of the Hayden Area Regional Sewer Board. We, as a city, are one of 3 entities, and we have a joint powers agreement that we run the sewer plant, the county, the Hayden Lake Sewer District, and the city of Hayden. And at our last meeting, there was a request by the Hayden Lake Marina to be able to connect to the Harbs sewer system. They wanted to be able to have boats come and then take their sewage and then put it into our sewer system. And we denied that because it puts at risk our permit to be able to operate. Now, there's no way in heck are we going to risk the ability to treat thousands of people's sewage to allow some 47 boats to now offload their sewage. So that was denied, just as a matter of a side issue. The Hayden Lake is a recharge point to the Rathrum Prairie Aquifer. If you know where the Richards live, that's a big pasture there. That water does not have an outlet out of Hayden Lake. It comes in Hayden Creek, and there's another couple of small creeks, but it goes into the aquifer there. And I want to protect our aquifer. By adding more boats, you're going to add more potential for pollution. And we need to be very concerned about our long-term water quality. And I think that aquifer services over 500,000 people. So we need to make sure that's protected. Someone mentioned up the Coeur d'Alene Lake versus Hayden Lake. The amount of traffic, I don't want to see the lake increased in traffic. I know that's not our jurisdiction. That is as a user of the lake and of a boat ramp, I don't want to see more pressure. These wake boats, I'm a fisherman, so those wake boats drive me nuts. And then what I see is that a lot of people may not know this, but a lot of the people that own homes around the lake and have rental properties, visitors will come to see them. And you know where they park? They come in the Honeysuckle parking lot. So now you're going to be increasing, according to the letter from Hayden Lake Marina, this will give more possible local service. Well, if we get more congestion on our Honeysuckle Road and Honeysuckle parking lot, the boat ramp, I'm against all that. I've been trying to reduce the impact on Honeysuckle ramp and beach because we are overloaded. My 3 daughters, I'm going to rant here, but sorry, but we have my 3 daughters, they have kids, they won't go to Honeysuckle Beach anymore. It's too crowded. And it's not going to get any better. So this is just going to add more to the problem. It does not help our people, our local citizens, if they don't even want to go to that beach.
Sounds like it's a no, Matt.
Is it obvious? And lastly, the opposition by the Hayden Lake Watershed Association, that's critical. They're tasked and they're taxing that watershed to protect it. This doesn't add to protection at all. So yeah, it's a no.
All right.
Sorry for the rant, but I had to get that off.
That's all right.
Mr. Mayor.
Just trying to keep the meeting going.
Mr. Mayor, one more quick point. So Commissioner DePriest brought up a good point of how does this affect our city limits? So if that parking lot is within our city limits, I'd like to get to the bottom of whether the plan does really say that the handicap parking spots are going to be off-site in that parking lot. as opposed to in the parking lot. So
All right, so with that, as a council member, want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we deny the letter of support for this
Second.
Hayden Lake Marina.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Schaefer?
I'm sorry, are we voting to deny or?
Correct.
Okay, yes.
Councilmember Erickson?
yes.
Council President Dupree?
Yes.
Councilmember Roder?
I think I said no. Yeah, so that's a yes to deny it. Don't want to confuse myself.
So our next item is legislative updates. Our city administrator was kind enough to give our council a handful of bills that are going through the state legislature. We really, what I'd like to do is if you have specific questions, great. But what I don't want to do is spend a half an hour just meandering through various things. If you have individual questions, we can certainly meet with staff afterwards. But if there's something that truly benefits the group, then
Mr. Mayor, if I could explain my handout too, for the benefit of the council members. So what I did was I compiled two different professional organizations' watches of bills and tried to synthesize those here. So this is the American Planning Association's Idaho chapter bills that are affecting local land use laws. And then AIC's, or Association of Idaho Cities, laws that they're watching. They're in order based on the House bills first and then the Senate bills next. The coloration was just so I could visually kind of track and get to your guys' attention those bills. So for instance, on the front page here, you'll see green and yellow. The green are bills that have already been passed and signed into law. There's one mistake on that, and that's House Bill 79 that says it's to the governor. That means it technically hasn't been made into law yet until he signs that.
which number was that?
House Bill 749.
749.
That should be in orange. The orange was supposed to indicate to the governor, but not signed yet, likely to be signed. The yellow bills in yellow are bills y'all remember civics class when we talked about how a bill makes it to law. It starts in one side of the either the Senate or the House side, and then once it's approved, goes to the other side and does the same process. So the yellow is to indicate if it's in the other side of the House for approval or consideration, excuse me. So on the House bills, those will be bills that have made it over to the Senate side, and on the Senate side, it'd be bills that have made it over to the House side. So that kind of gives you where is it sitting in the how a bill becomes law component, right? So, and then the ones in white are likely in some form or fashion either being considered at the level of the House or Senate or within committee, and under the status, you can get that update. On the back side, the Senate bills 13, 52, 53, and 54 are the legislations that you're hearing a lot of discussion amongst the cities and other taxing entities across the state that manage local land use planning act, or LUPA. And that right now has passed the House, or excuse me, passed the Senate and is at the House. And right now it's in the House Business Committee, and there is a meeting tomorrow at 1:30 for those to be considered. I just thought I'd give you an update, so as you navigate a conversation around those bills, you at least know the status of when they'll be heard next. And with that, the last thing I wanted to say is the red, and the red is simply a bill that has died, meaning it's failed at some level, either in committee. Well, we won't know if it's failed in committee because we don't know those until sine die happens. But in this particular one, House Bill 842, which was the amending ordinance to House Bill 389, failed in the House for passage. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I would open the floor to you to discuss anything you'd like.
Lisa, just as another comment, House Bill 937 is also going to hearing tomorrow.
This isn't an update on all the bills, just the ones that I thought you'd be interested in knowing their imminent need for taking action on them. For example, I spoke with the city administrator in Rathdrum, who was a former AIC member, and he was telling me.
Lisa, when you say 1:30 p.m. tomorrow,
This is Mountain Time.
okay, local time, not our time. Got it.
Boise time?
Yeah, Boise time.
Boise time,
We
okay.
say Mountain Time.
So, Mr. Mayor, I know you just asked us not to speechify or get on our soapboxes about these, but
Not allowed.
you know, for the benefit of everybody in the audience and whoever watches this on YouTube, I think 1352 and 1353 and 1354 are huge issues that that have the potential to really impact the quality and character of Hayden. And, you know, I don't know how much we can discuss here. I mean, we're going to count on council to guide our words, right?
Don't be overly critical.
Well, I'll say this, and our, Fonda Jovek, our attorney, has told you guys you have the freedom, the right as individuals to speak on behalf of these bills as part of your First Amendment right. And so the conversation as it made it to this level was, what conversation does the body want to have if you want to speak on behalf of your particular position with respect to the city? So that's why this was added onto this agenda, to have those conversations. For means of education and information, I was just simply trying to synthesize some of those laws that there's, you know, several hundred laws being considered right now.
Yeah.
I have been told, but I don't know for sure, that there's a potential for sine die on Friday.
For ending.
Yeah.
Okay, translate for.
Concluding the legislative session maybe by this Friday. So.
Got it. Okay. Well, I know that Councilman DePriest is probably itching to say his piece on this, so I'll be brief as I can be.
I do have all the laws here too, if you wanted to read them.
I've downloaded the verbiage. I got it here, but I mean, if you want to, if you're having trouble sleeping, you can read those. I'll just pick on one as an example, and yes, I'm a city councilman, and I'm also speaking as a citizen here. And for the benefit of anybody in the audience, you better get on the phone with your representatives before 1:30 tomorrow, because one of them, 1352, would basically allow lot sizes of 1,500 square feet in subdivisions. And the big question mark hanging over the heads of us as legislators is, how is this going to impact developments that we've already approved, but where ground hasn't been struck yet? And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, council, correct me if I'm not, but you know, that leaves a big lump in my throat as to how that's going to affect what Hayden looks like in 10 years. So I'll leave it at that and give the floor to any of my fellow colleagues up here.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, well, anybody who's seen this in the last couple of meetings knows that I'm going to rant here. Matt had his, and now I'm going to have mine. Yeah, you can, here we go. I've been following this, watching all the testimony all the last number of weeks, watching various podcasts and meetings that local Senator Taves and Representative Redmond, who are the authors and sponsors of these bills, 1352, 53, and 54, which basically are taking away the voices, in my opinion, taking away the voices of the citizens who tell the cities that, and in our case, we've made it very clear, we don't want density, okay? Well, Senator Taves is selling these, and by the way, it's going before a hearing in the business committee, not the local governance committee. And a sponsor on these bills, local Representative Redmond, just happens to be the chairman of that committee, okay? So my guesstimation is it's going to pass. And the only chance we're going to have afterwards is to beseech upon the governor to please not sign these bills. Because what they're going to do, what these bills will do, as Council Member Schaefer said, I've talked to the people, this went to what's called the 14th order for amendments, okay, where they kind of do their horse trading and what have you. And the good Senator Taves graciously removed the verbiage of at least 12 dwellings per acre, but at 1,500 square feet per acre lots, and you take that into 43,560 square feet, you come out with 29 lots. Now, yeah, you've got your road and whatever sidewalks, But still, you're creating a situation where my guess is on a 5-acre parcel, you might end up with 50 court homes or something like that, which probably means it's 50 hookups, 100 cars, that type of thing. And I don't see, you may contact our local representative and senator and ask them, why is there no bill to fund the infrastructure that this density is going to bring? Because it's going to fall on us. I also, Matt is the vice chair, but I attend the Harbs board meetings. And the administrator at the meeting last week stated that the treatment plant has 342 available hookups. Before that, the administrator stated that if done today, the expansion of the treatment plant would cost roughly $52 million. Okay? The city currently has roughly $55 million in needed road, sewer, and infrastructure on our 5-year comprehensive plan. The city is facing at least a doubling of our per deputy or officer costs, which will continue to increase as we go on. Where is the city going to get this? Okay. These bills mandate. And that means that applicants can come in here and say, that's state law. Basically, you must approve it. Okay. The effect that these are going to have, I'm only worried about Hayden. I can't do anything about Rathdrum or Boise or anywhere else. But those of us who live here and have to drive on the streets and deal with pain for the infrastructure improvements are the ones who are going to have to deal with it down the road. Okay, Senator Tate says, oh, this is about getting property rights to the absolute property, the owner of the land, their property rights, and it's for affordable housing. Okay, I'll make a bet right now that these what'll be 800 square foot homes on 100 square foot lots will be at least 300,000, if not more. Okay, ask them why there's nothing in these bills that prevents corporations coming in and buying them and using them as rentals. Why there's nothing in these bills requiring owner occupancy, things like that. Okay, these bills are going to cause, if passed, significant concerns with regards to 180 degrees diametrically opposed to what the people of Hayden say they want their city, how they want their city to develop. So please, I know a lot of you live in the county, okay? You know people live in the city. Those may be watching in the city. If you can, call the business, the members of the business committee. It's going to pass. Try and contact the governor, okay, and ask them not to pass this, okay? But bottom line is, the authors of this bill are running unopposed, okay? So that allows a lot of, so what, shall we say? And a lot of this, what appears to me to be lack of concern for what we are elected to do. It takes it out of the representatives that the people elect to do. Okay, and this is the most concerning thing. It's called local autonomy, and it's starting to happen more and more. And so much for, you know, you've heard about centralized government, okay, smart cities, 15-minute, okay, and you'll hear certain ideological groups rail against it. Well, that same ideological group is doing it. Okay, so please become more aware and more involved and start spreading the word to communicate with all of our representatives as to they don't have the right to take the local autonomy away from the cities. There's my rant.
Okay, can we move on to city administrator report?
Can I say something first?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I know you guys want to give your opinion, and I know it's important and you're elected. I'm just, you know, we have folks that run for office that want to impose rules on how we run meetings, and I want to try to keep that in the shadows and not have anything forced on us like this. So just ask council to be aware of the effect that your rants have on the public.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The cities of Idaho are a creature of the Idaho legislature. They're the ones that determine what we can do and how we were formed, and they're the ones that set the laws. And recently, I read in the paper concerning these bills, one of the proponents said, because the argument on my side would be, you're taking away our local control. We already have land use issues. We have zoning set forth that people bought property based on all that. And we're elected to keep those ordinances in place. So the quote I read in the paper, they said, well, it's not taking away local control, the city councils. The people now have local control. So think about that. They want the people just to decide what they can and can't do. And that's a problem. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Administrator report, please.
Oh, yeah. So a couple things. You got a financial report. We're trying to give those to you guys monthly now. And you'll see where we sit year to date, revenue over expenses for specific funds, mainly the general fund and the utility fund or enterprise funds, and then fund balances where they sit right now. Secondly, I had a question to council, and it's mainly to give you guys some thought, and we'll follow back up with you later, and that is as we navigate towards budget season, which starts in March and April. The question to council would be whether or not you'd be favorable to having our sort of kickoff strategic planning workshop on April 30th. So I'll ask the clerk to follow up with you guys unless you have comments now, but I believe that's a Thursday.
Everybody know if they can do April 30th or not?
At like 1 o'clock probably again?
Yeah, 1 to 4, tentatively.
I didn't bring my phone, so I can't tell you.
Okay, we'll follow up with an email.
I'm good.
That looks okay for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Thank
Sorry.
you for not having it 2 days earlier.
You're welcome, I guess.
My daughter's getting married that weekend.
And other than that, I probably have my notes somewhere and I can find it. If there's any questions for me?
Any questions for Lisa? Okay. Captain Smart, welcome. It's the second meeting of the month. I've asked the Sheriff's Department to be available to discuss the report they give us at the beginning of the month. So welcome, what you got?
Thank you, Commissioners. We gave you the monthly stat report a little early on the last one, and I know that at that time you said there was no questions. I've had time to digest it. I don't know if there's any questions that have popped up. I will say there were a couple things that we did look at from those to maybe bring to light to answer questions that maybe you didn't want to ask. We did have, again, this month, one of the primary things we looked at, traffic accidents were still up. And so I asked the traffic team as well as the Hayden deputies to look into that a little bit further. There was 2 corridors that we looked at from last month and this month. There's a Hayden corridor, and then primarily it was more of a government corridor from Prairie up to Lancaster that had 6 to 8 last month and about 6 this month as well. We tried to delve in deeper to find out if there was correlation between any of those to determine if we needed traffic emphasis or not there. No, there wasn't a correlation. There was a spattering of some rear end accidents for falling too close, some turning movement accidents, some speed with some of the winter conditions. There just wasn't anything to pinpoint exactly what was driving those. And they were at varied intersections along the whole route. However, we did have a traffic unit who did conduct 2 days worth of specific emphasis there. They made 37 stops in 2 days on the government corridor. Wow. They issued 34 citations on that government corridor for speeds, some stop sign violations, and some texting while driving. So we did try to put an emphasis there to at least curb some of the driving patterns that may be causing some of these crashes. Obviously, we know moving forward, we're coming out of the winter season, so road conditions may be improving, but we're going to be running into new navigational issues with pedestrians and, all the things that come with summers, children biking and whatnot. So we still ask the public to be mindful of all their driving habits as they're out there navigating the roadways. Another couple parts we looked at, we did look at here, there were 7 assaults that were noted. And again, those are categories as such as assaults. That's just the way it drops into for a NIBRS accounting. Those were primarily, again, family disputes related. There was only one that was a true citizen on citizen, which was a citizen stopped along the side of the road because there was a group of juveniles who were tripping each other and pushing each other around on the sidewalks. And he did not like that. And so he stopped and educated them. We do not encourage the grasping of children to corral them. A stern warning as you drive by, that may be fine, but please don't be grabbing onto kids trying to will them to your ways. Thefts, again, we were at 13 thefts this month. Again, those were primary, centered on the grocery store markets of shoplifters and whatnot. There was a theft of a catalytic converter from a parked vehicle overnight at a business. We did have that. There was another theft of, let's see, what was one of them here?
Gasoline.
There was a theft of a mirror from the bathroom at one of the local restaurants. It was later returned. I believe that was a TikTok-induced item. Obviously you want to retrieve those things. I don't know if any of you guys have seen those. They're pretty impressive, a bathroom mirror. And then we did have one thing of note. We had a suspicious person called in, and we located that gentleman over by the cat company. And as he exited his vehicle wearing only his underwear, we did find later that he was a transient out of Canada. We have since tried to let him know that the border is north, and it would be nice if he went back over there. If he's going to drive around in just his underwear, we didn't really want that in our neighborhood. So those are some of the things we encountered. We did have an incident the other day at the Hayden Meadows School. We did have a lockdown that was called in that did launch a multi-agency response. We had multiple units from Coeur d'Alene City who responded to assist us. We had our whole staff that was on duty for patrol that day, as well as a couple ISP units. That was fortunately a false alarm. However, we did our due diligence to ensure that that school was properly cleared. With the amount of units that did respond, it was able to be done quickly. We were able to check all the nooks and crannies and ensure that the school was safe and return to normal business operations in a pretty swift manner. So that was one of the main incidents that did occur, but unfortunately it was a false alarm for this day. So.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
So yesterday, I happened to have a ride-along scheduled with one of the sheriff deputies on my way to the sheriff's station on, is it Dakota?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was on my way there and I saw Coeur d'Alene PD flying by on 95. So I didn't know what was going on at the time. It was like 8:35 when the call came in, I guess. All that to say, the deputy that I did the ride along with, he was late, obviously, because he was responding to that. But I was able to observe the whole sheriff's department doing an after-action review of the whole thing on my ride along. We stopped by the school. What I observed and what I heard was fantastic. The way that your department responded, the swiftness, also finding out that the cohesion and partnership with Coeur d'Alene and the surrounding agencies, everybody was in lockstep. And so I just wanted to thank you and your department. It was amazing. And, I'm grateful that it was just a false alarm, but the response was confidence building, to say the least, to know that our kids in our schools have these sort of deputies looking after them. So,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We just approved the contract with Matrix, which is our consultant, to look at our future needs in law enforcement. One of the critical parts that they'll be doing is they need to gather data. I guess my question to you is, will you provide all the data to the consultant that they ask you for? Because that becomes, all of the analysis will be based on that data. So will Cooney County Sheriff's Office provide the data that they ask for?
That's a question I can't answer. We'll have to discuss that with legal.
I can answer that. The sheriff has indicated that he will fully cooperate with our contract.
Okay?
That's one matter, but I want to be more specific is, will they provide the data? Cooperation is one thing.
No, specifically to that point.
That they will provide the data that is asked for by the consultant?
That is what the sheriff has indicated.
So that's an affirmative.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to get on record. Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed and appreciate that you were apparently, and he may have just been parked there, but I'm hoping there's some enforcement on Prairie and Fourth. I don't know if that was a specific targeted location, but it is becoming an increasingly dangerous intersection. People seem to not understand what a four-way stop means, what a procedure for it, or whether you really have to stop. But do you have any statistics as to were there any citations written, or do you know anything, or was that any kind of targeted patrol?
It wasn't relayed specifically. I mean, sometimes the deputies do choose those locations based on their own knowledge about what they're seeing out there when they're driving around. But it wasn't something that was reported back specifically of, hey, I took action over here for this specific reason. And it didn't pop up as,
Citations and stuff.
on all the locations, it didn't pop up as a driving area.
They do park at the park there quite a bit, maybe just to catch up paperwork or something. Is that a routine part of a deputy's day?
Yeah, if they're at the park, I mean, one, they're doing
parking
two
lot
things at
that's
the
right
same
there.
time. If they back up strategically, they get to also they can see traffic at the same time. They also get to type at the same time. And they also get to, check out what's going on at the park. So
This was a deputy parked east of Fourth on Prairie, kind of back a ways.
East.
Yeah, kind of sitting inwards. It appeared to be, and appreciatively so, observing the behaviors at Fourth and Prairie.
Any other questions for Captain? Captain, I want to say thank you for the team. The school response was overwhelming, and that's exactly what every parent wants, so thank you. And I also want to thank you and your staff. The fact that you're not just patrolling Hayden, but that you're looking for patterns, you're looking for ways to correct behavior that could lead to accidents and improve our safety. I have no pity for the people that got 34 tickets. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, does any council member have a report to make tonight?
No.
Okay, hearing none. Are there any requests for future agenda items? David?
I've got one. I know in line with the study that's going to be done for law enforcement needs, all of that, I know it was mentioned that there was a discussion with the city of Coeur d'Alene. I would be interested in trying to set up a workshop with them so that we can actually find out more specifics, so that we have more information on when we get the reporting back, what our needs are, what the cost would be. It'd be helpful to know what any of that information looks like if we were to engage with the city of Coeur d'Alene.
I'm not sure I quite understood I know we've got the study going. What exactly would be asking from Coeur d'Alene?
So when we get that study back,
right,
there's potentially a decision that we have to make.
Oh, gotcha.
And so with that decision, it would be helpful to have as much information as possible based off the different course of action that we would want to take as a city.
Sure.
And one of those ways to gather that information would be to have a workshop with the city of Coeur d'Alene.
After the study's complete.
I just wanted to at least put that out there, that might be something to discuss.
Okay.
As a future agenda item.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else have anything? Okay. Our next agenda item is to move into executive session in support of Idaho Code 742061F.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, we have a second. Get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson.
Yes.
Councilmember Roder,
Yes.
Council President DePriest.
Yes.
Okay, for the public, we need to talk to our lawyer, so I wish everybody a safe drive home. Thank you for attending tonight, and, what's that? Yes, there is a potential action item after executive session, so let's reconvene at 6:45, please.
Can we take a really quick
6:45.
break? Okay, that's perfect.